retired FBI guy, James Agagliano. James, I believe we're hearing reports that it was an automatic rifle. I'm not sure we've confirmed that. But if it was, what does that tell you?
Well, Jesse, we are hearing through channels that it looks like some type of AR-style rifle. Looks like it had a 30-round magazine in it. Jesse, it just seems odd if the pictures that are floating around right now are confirmed that this was the shooter. This completely looks to me like a targeted attack. If this shooter was set on a mass casualty situation, a mass shooter, there were so many targets of opportunity that appears that weren't taken. He went up to a particular floor. He obviously had some way to get into the building. He had to get past one armed officer there. And this is going to be a long night. Even if the shooter acted alone, and we always presume that there were accomplices. We always presume that there are other people that might be associated. There might be some type of conspiracy. And we've got to make sure to get to the bottom of that first. But they're going to go through that building, and it's a difficult crisis site. It's a vertical building. It's not a horizontal platform. So they've got to work through every floor. And I'll just close with this. You know, there's been some discussion on what's being taught to civilians that you should do in a situation like this. And yes, it's nuanced, and yes, it's constantly tweaked, but run, hide, fight, and tell are what the FBI is teaching currently. And why is that? You want to get out of there as quickly as possible and get away. If you can't, and you can find cover, and that's not concealment, cover where you can put something between you and the bad guy, do that. And if it comes down to it and your life is on the line, obviously fight. But Jesse, the fourth and equally important is the tell part. Go to law enforcement, tell them what you saw, give as accurate a description as you can of the shooter or shooters, what they're wearing, what type of weapons, and where they're located.
So we're getting word from a Blackstone employee who says you do not need badge access to get up into the elevator. Once you're into the elevator, you can go to whatever floor you want.
We don't know it's that, but generally speaking, we work from that perspective. We presume that and work backwards from that. Presidential Decision Directive 62 in 1998 gave the FBI purview over that. However, the front line of defense are the cops, the police officers, the local response, and that's what they're doing. Now, what is terrorism? That's somebody that has a political, ideological, or religious bent, and they want to further that by action of violence or threats of same. Could it be that? Sure. To you, as you pointed out earlier, could it be workplace violence? Could this guy have had a beef or a grudge against another worker there? Yes. Now, would he be walking down 52nd Street with a long gun out exposed like that if he was going to do a targeted killing? It doesn't seem like it connects the dots. However, if he was there to cause mass casualties and kill as many people as possible, that's not what he appeared to do either. Could it be a love interest? Could it be a domestic? Could it be workplace violence? There's so many different things, but with or without a motive right now, police have got to make sure that no one else is involved in this. And if the shooter is deceased and is down, either by a self-inflicted gunshot wound or if law enforcement took him out, we've still got to go through the painstaking tactical resolution of ensuring that no one else is in that building and that no one else was involved with this guy. And obviously by tomorrow morning, we'll have many, many more details here. But he's carrying a long gun. So if it's a long gun, if it's an AR-15 or an AR-style rifle, it shoots .556 ammunition. That type of ammunition, bulletproof vests don't stop that. Unless you've got some type of shock plate that's, level 4, it doesn't stop that. So you're carrying heavy armament. It looks like he had a 30-round magazine attached to it. If he's carrying heavy armaments like that, look, I mean, he drew a lot of attention to himself as he walked across the plaza, as he walked down the street.
Yeah, and we actually now just got cleared to use this photo. This was obtained by the New York Post. This is the suspect here. If we could put it up on the screen right now. So there he is, very casually dressed, holding the rifle by his right side. It looks like he's wearing sunglasses. I can't really see that closely if he's Middle Eastern, African American. It's really, really difficult to tell from this type of photo. Could we zoom in at all upstairs? We're going to work on that. I don't know if you could see this, James, but just your initial reaction to this alleged suspect.
The level of casualness with which he seems to be walking with a sense of purpose, but the fact that he has the long gun down at his side, making no effort at all to secrete it, to put it underneath of his jacket, to make any attempt to conceal it. It looks like he's set on what he's planning to do, and anybody that gets in his way, he's going to stop. But this does not appear to be a situation where it's a mass shooter just looking to kill as many people as possible. It definitely appears like he was going there with a sense of purpose. It's just odd that he did that he walked that way. But Jesse, as we know with many of these things, mental illness is part and parcel with many of these folks, whether they're terrorists or disgruntled employees or somebody that's hell-bent on hurting someone that's in their immediate family. Mental illness runs rife there. So, you know, it's hard to say just looking at one still shot of him, but man, that is an odd look for somebody that was, you know, trying to gain access into the building and appeared to be going to a certain floor to try to kill somebody.
Yeah, we're getting a picture right now from inside, I believe the 33rd floor. This is Blackstone offices. The employees barricaded the entryway with looks like several couches, filing cabinets, whatever they could put up against that door to keep themselves safe. I mean, that is very innovative and desperate, obviously, but they probably saved how many lives? We'll never know. Is this something that you believe they've been trained for, or is this something that just kind of kicks in as a survival instinct?
Yeah, it's tough to tell. A lot of these large companies do have, especially the higher risk ones, do have active shooter trainings, and they're taught to do something like this when the alert goes out to make it as difficult as possible for somebody to come through. You know, I believe this was conducted after hours, after normal work hours. Mm-hmm. So if the doors were left open downstairs, you know, that's something that companies have to figure out. The main entrance way to the building, is that something they lock at 5 p.m. or is it, you know, so much work going on back and forth that they have to keep the doors open? So that'll be coming out, you know, how easily was he able to get into the building and then travel through the various floors. You know, we stay in a lot of hotels, you need a key card to use the elevator in a lot of these places. So did this company have that, or could anybody just go up to whatever floor they wanted? But that picture is a great example of somebody using their ingenuity to try to protect themselves. We'll know more over the next 24 hours as the FBI and NYPD continues its investigation and the intel forces on the ground make any connections that are there.
Nuanced. She gave a nuanced explanation of the political situation. Grudge. He had a grudge against his former coworker. Connect the dots. It's hard to connect the dots without more evidence. Disgruntled. A disgruntled customer posted a bad review online. Ingenuity. Their ingenuity helped them escape the locked room.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.